So we're going to start today's video by looking at this tweet, guys, courtesy of 6529. He states that the acceleration of digitization is going to be hard for a lot of people. This is very true, especially when there are things like this occurring, FTX buying a Super Bowl ad, as well as the FDIC exploring how banks could hold digital assets, as well as, of course, central bank digital currencies. Central banks are getting very serious about digital money. And also, the Securities and Exchange Commission may have a very key role in the regulation of stablecoins. Not to mention, there are assets such as Litecoin nearing all-time highs for transactions, Ripple expanding payment corridors in the Asian Pacific region, and central banks like DBS joining the governing council for Hedera Hashgraph. This tweet is way more powerful and should have even more likes than it already has, guys, because this is the truth. This is where we are right now, guys. So this is why I really do what I do, is because I knew that this was coming. I was aware of its presence, and it just wasn't in me to sit back and not say anything. Okay. So with that being stated, guys, let's get into the information. We have a lot to talk about in this video, guys, starting with this Super Bowl ad courtesy of FTX. Now, Bloomberg reported that the Bitcoin exchange giant FTX has purchased an ad slot for the upcoming Super Bowl 56 56 Super Bowl LV1. I need to get better on my Roman numerals, but February 13th, 2022 at SoFi Stadium in Inglewood, California, there will be a Super Bowl ad, guys, and it will be created courtesy of FTX. Now, without going through the rest of the article, guys, I'm going to tell you exactly what this means, okay? A few months ago, when Coinbase went public, this was the first time that I said this, okay? This was the first time I made this statement. I was talking to my lady. I told her, I said, once we get a Super Bowl ad, we're there. It's official at that point. We will be rich. We'll have more money than all of our friends. She chuckled, said something about Polkadot, and we just kept it pushing, right? Here we are. FTX. Now, it's crazy how the spring that came after that statement, sports got accelerated into crypto adoption through the form of Crypto.com, Tezos, and their multiple racing partnerships, Aston Martin getting involved, Chili's, Socios, and that whole movement, Dapper Labs with NBA, NFL, MLB, all of these things, and FTX. When they bought that arena, I knew something was going to change. When they got their name placed on the arena, I knew things were about to change, guys. Now, let me highlight the significance of this date. Now, this is just my personal opinion, not financial advice at all. But I will have moved I'll say this, I will definitely take profits February 10th, maybe February 1st. Maybe January 31st, because I want to be so out of the way of this, it's not going to make any sense. Most people will say that because of this ad, we may rally. We'll have a lot of attention. All right. But judging by the SNL fiasco from earlier this year, that's a signal at the top. That date to me indicates the end of this particular bull phase that we are in the beginning of. By February 13th, we will have seen $100,000 Bitcoin, 7,000 Ethereum, okay? Maybe a $4 XRP, $2 H. You never know, right? But I'm pretty sure this date is going to mark the turnaround, because 3 months after that is May. And we all know what happens the closer we get to May. All right. Now, like I said, this is not financial advice, but judging off of the string of events that we've seen play out in the last year, guys, my external senses, my spider senses, if you will, they're telling me that this date is important. Okay. February 13th, 2022. Now, we're not going to go any deeper than that. Not going to get into numerology. If that's your thing, you can go ahead and run this date into a certain calculator and you can make your own surmisation from that. But I'm telling you guys what I'm being communicated. All right. That date is, you want to keep it on your calendar, guys. You want to keep it on your calendar and just pay very close attention to the market behavior leading up to the Super Bowl. All right. That's really all I wanted to pull from that story, guys. But this is still big. This is still big for FTX. Don't get me wrong. Still big for the space, big for Bitcoin. But this will mark the top. Okay. This will mark the top. But moving forward, guys, let's talk about something else that is going to be very important going into 2022, guys. FDIC chairman is urging U.S. regulators to explore how banks could hold crypto assets. Now, this is something else that I was conversating with, my people about a few months ago, earlier in the year. It was just a thought. The one thing that we need now is and I believe I've mentioned it on the channel too. So if you've been around for a while and you remember, let me know. But this was the one entity that we haven't had yet. Okay. The one entity that we needed to, in my opinion, officially solidify the digital asset space. And that was the FDIC, guys, because, and you know this, if you have a bank account, you go to an ATM, you do a transaction pretty much anywhere, the company is FDIC insured, your credit union, FDIC insured, your bank, FDIC insured. A lot of these meta banks, they have to go through the FDIC to get insured. Okay. That $250,000 insurance that you get from most banks, to protect your funds, that comes from the FDIC. Now, we have been seeing a storm of regulation come into crypto. And if this were to happen, this would be the complete. We would have the whole set, all 5 pieces of Exodia, and we can go on to the next phase, guys. But let's get into the information, guys. Top U.S. bank regulator said U.S. officials are looking to provide a clear path for banks and their clients that are looking to hold crypto. Jelena McWilliams, who chairs the Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation, told Reuters in an interview on Monday that a team of U.S. bank regulators is trying to provide a roadmap for banks to engage with crypto assets. That could include clear rules over holding cryptocurrency in custody to facilitate client trading, using them as collateral for loans, or even holding them on their balance sheets like more traditional assets. Now, really quick, let's highlight this last sentence here. Okay. This roadmap is intended to include clearer rules for holding crypto, custodying crypto, trading crypto, loaning crypto, and holding it on their balance sheets. Now, real quick here, how many times have we heard of a crypto and a bank coming together for custody solutions, for trading solutions, for staking solutions? This is happening around the world. All right. One thing I do notice about this lovely country that we live in is that we'll impose an idea to the world. We'll let other smaller countries practice the idea. And if it works, then we'll do it and then tell people that we did it. I've watched America do this for years, guys. But in a quote from the lady herself, she says that I think we need to allow banks in this space while appropriately managing and mitigating risk. If we don't bring this activity inside the banks, it's going to develop outside the banks, and the federal regulators won't be able to regulate it, guys. So this story right here, it is very big. It is quite important because now the conversation is coming towards the FDIC. Again, the FDIC has a very prominent position in the banking system, especially in the United States, guys. I'm not too sure about their reach and around the world, but in the United States, the FDIC is just as important as the SEC. Not talked about as much, but just as important, guys. Now, on the subject of the SEC, they're expected to have a key role in policing, stablecoins such as Tether. Now, when I was reading through this, it immediately took me back to the whole Bitfinex Tether situation and what was sent down from the New York Attorney General, Letitia James. Okay. After that whole situation, they essentially owned Tether. They required Tether to report on a quarterly basis. They broke down their book, so forth and so on. Now it seems that they're using Tether as their sword to pierce the rest of the stablecoin market. Guys, let's dig into it. The U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission is about to play a leading authority role when it comes to proposing legislation and overseeing the stablecoin sector. The sources familiar with the matter, I love it when they say that, leaked a report that a report is expected by this week from the U.S. Treasury Department and other agencies urging Congress to pass legislation determining that stablecoins should be regulated similarly to bank deposits, guys. Now, that is directly going to tie in to the legislation that was proposed to the man himself, Mr. Biden, where this would give the authority to allow for that legislation to come. Okay. There's a key difference between authority and permission. You're going to need the authority before you get permission. Okay. But the president's working group on financial markets, while spokespeople for the SEC, CFTC, and the Treasury declined to comment on the pending report, the leaked information suggests that it will also reaffirm that the CFTC has a role in overseeing the sector. And this is clearly after a couple weeks ago, they said that they didn't want to be involved. They didn't want to be involved, right? Okay. The report is being prepared by the president's working group on financial markets, which comprises head representatives from the country's main regulatory agencies, including Secretary of the Treasury Janet Yellen, Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell, SEC Chairman Gary Gee, and CFTC Chairman Rostin Behnam. Okay. So that last name, guys, we're going to want to start keeping an eye out on. That's the CFTC, man. So we already know about Yellen, we already know about Powell and Gary Gee. So the coming recommendations, which are set to break down how the Biden administration will regulate the sector across several agencies, were announced in the group's meeting in July, during which Yellen underscored the need to act quickly to ensure there is an appropriate U.S. regulatory framework in place, guys. So they love to sprinkle the breadcrumbs throughout the year, guys. Love to sprinkle the breadcrumbs throughout the year, and they have. They've been talking about stable coins. It was Tether that was the catalyst that brought the attention to the stable coin industry. Okay, all the while USDC and Circle was slowly taking over the planet. Okay, accumulating blockchain, so forth and so on, and because they're backed by the people that are essentially trying to regulate the market. We don't see this type of narrative around USDC. Okay, we don't see this type of narrative around USDC. Why do you think that is, guys? But speaking of digital currencies, let's keep it going on that subject, guys. Central banks are getting serious about digital money. Now, what I just want to show you is this graphic here, guys. All right, this is the current state of central bank digital currencies as of, let's see, I want to say this was September of 2021. Yes, this is information as recent as September, guys. Now, in yellow, you can see central bank digital currencies already being issued. There's your e-Naira right there. Now, in pink, we have planning to issue a CBDC. Countries we have, guys: Saudi Arabia, India, China, Russia. All right, parts of the Philippines, and the regions down here, guys. I can't really recall which side of the planet that may be right now. We got the Atlantic. That's not related. Anyway, conducting early research or experiments. You can see Australia, parts of Africa, and the United States. Okay. The rest of the colors are actively exploring. That would be Canada, and we already know who they've chosen. Brazil and the Northern Europe, Russian, Iceland territories right there, guys. So this is just a global snapshot of how CBDCs are coming into the picture, guys. Okay. And if we go back to the G20 report, which I am planning on doing an updated version of that because I broke down that PDF and added some annotations as well. So I'm going to share that with you too, because the information in that is giving us the guidebook okay, of this transition, guys. That is the guidebook. But you can see central banks are getting very serious about digital money, guys. But let's move over to the coin talk, guys. We're going to start with Litecoin. Their transactions near all-time high after gaining ground in consumer finance. Now, news is that Litecoin has had a couple partnerships in the last couple of weeks, guys, and especially last time we talked about them on the channel. Now, the information states the number of Litecoin transactions has rebounded over 140,000 in recent days after falling close to the 100K mark in early October. 3 days prior, the Litecoin Foundation tweeted about the launch of its LTC Visa debit card, which I covered on this channel a few months ago when they began to introduce it, which is powered by the fintech firm Unbanked. According to the card's homepage, potential customers would first register for a Litecoin card account, deposit LTC into a specific wallet address, pass your KYC check, and receive a virtual Litecoin card. Now, in the video that you'll watch on this channel about that, I actually go into that platform a little bit more, explain it to you, flesh it out. There were some issues in the beginning with the addresses, but I think they've addressed that since then. So pretty good for Litecoin. But there's another partnership that I have just become aware of. It states that the day after, the Litecoin Foundation issued a tweet after Verifone's partnership. Well, they issued a tweet about Verifone's partnership with BitPay. Verifone is one of the world's biggest point-of-sale payments processors, facilitating close to 440 billion each year in annual transactions. BitPay is a cryptocurrency payment processor handling over 60,000 consumer transactions. One of those options to pay with BitPay is Litecoin. Okay, so that means that you've seen a Verifone item before. I just want to show you guys really quick. Okay, and it's gonna blow your mind next time you go to Wendy's or Myers or, a convenience store, a gas station. Okay. This is what Litecoin is now going to be allowed to be paid with. All right. So they laid the foundation with the Litecoin debit card. Now Litecoin has its own card. Their next major partnership is with Verifone. Verifone creates all of these devices, guys. This is how you make payments for it everywhere. Okay, everywhere. And they've been around for decades, guys. So that is very positive for Litecoin, guys. Now, let's move over to Ripple and their expansion into the Asian Pacific region. Well, even more expansion, guys. It states that Ripple and Tranglo's Singapore's partnership is scaling to new heights in the Asian Pacific region. Ripple, the leading provider of enterprise blockchain and crypto solutions for cross-border payments, announced new milestones in its partnership with Tranglo, following Ripple's intent to acquire a 40% stake in Asia's leading cross-border payments specialist in March to scale the footprint of RippleNet. The partnership has demonstrated significant momentum within the last 6 months, with Tranglo launching its first live on-demand liquidity service on RippleNet in the Philippines, guys. And we can take a quick snap back at this map because that's that area there, plans to issue CBDC, guys. Now, I'm putting together a video about XRP, XLM, the importance of them together. So make sure you stick around for that, guys. But it states that the Philippines is Asia's third largest remittance receiving country, where funds sent home from Filipino overseas foreign workers are an economic lifeline. The ODL leverages the digital asset XRP for instant and low-cost cross-border payments, eliminating the need for costly pre-funded accounts. So, to clear up any speculation, will this new expansion into this region, this move with Tranglo, actually connect? Is it actually connected to XRP? The on-demand liquidity system platform that they're using leverages XRP. So that means that in order to engage with that system, XRP has to be used. All right. Now, something else that I was thinking about. The reason why, and this would make sense logically, okay? Not mathematically, logically. If an entire country of people join on to one system and they have to use a certain asset, then you would surmise that, okay, maybe 100,000, 200,000 more people have just come onto the market, right? Well, you have to look at the reality of that. They're going to come into this market, the underbanked and the unbanked people. And this is a pattern that I'm seeing play out, especially with Cello. Okay. You can, if you do some digging on Cello and their work with the UBI and the impact market, you'll see this pattern reoccur. They're going to open up these payment channels, yes, to the underbanked and the unbanked parts of the world. But it's going to be literally a drip. It's going to be a slow drip. Okay. And I learned this from analyzing Cello's work with Impact Market. Okay. They're giving people the equivalent of $1.50 right now. Cello is $7 per token. Okay. But they're distributing the equivalent of $1.50. So that just has me thinking, the reason why we aren't seeing, well, for example, the reason why Cello isn't $100 token right now is because of that effect. It's because of those drips. They're not going to come out and immediately just start giving people $1,000 a month here and there in different currencies, okay? Because that would disrupt the system. The smartest way to do this would be that trickle effect, okay? So when people ask, and a lot of people do, when they ask about XRP's position when it comes to Ripple, they are very closely correlated. Although Ripple is its own company, they're using the XRP ledger, which that technology is tied to the XRP asset itself. So in any situation where Ripple goes to a country and wants to give their technology to that country, and the technology they're using is the XRP ledger, that country then has to interact with XRP to get on the XRP ledger in order to do their business. That's what this sentence means here. ODL leveraging the digital asset XRP for instant low cross-border payments. Okay. That just really wanted to give you that, guys, because I was very curious about that. But now that that's established, guys, the rest of this just goes into the history of Tranglo and RippleNet's influence in that Asian region. But the big part of that story was that this is now getting ready to go live, essentially. ODL corridor, Asia Pacific on the XRP ledger. It's getting ready to go live. So that also ties into the stable coins, the central bank digital currencies that are getting ready to come out. What we're seeing, guys, is the projects that are going to host these CBDCs, they're doing it in experimental forms in different parts of the world. Okay? In different parts of the country. Now, let's get over to our main event, guys. We're talking Hedera Hashgraph because they have just added a new governing council member in the form of DBS. Okay, let's just break down this whole story because I love when they add more council members, guys. I love it. I really do. But today, Public DLT Hedera Hashgraph has announced Singapore's DBS Bank as the latest addition to its governing council. It is the third bank and sixth financial services firm to join the 24-member council. DBS is very active in the blockchain sector. It started in trade finance, partnering DLT ledgers, but has also joined Contour, Truthful, and others. Yesterday saw the launch of the pilot phase of Partior, a joint venture with JP Morgan and Temesk for interbank payments. Late last year, it launched the DBS Digital Exchange for digital assets, and since has issued its own security token. And it is also a founder of the carbon exchange that will use DLT, Climate Impact X, alongside SGX, Standard Charter, and Temasek. Okay. Now, other banks that are members of the Hedera Governing Council are South Africa's Standard Bank, Korea's Shinhan Bank. Shinhan's activity preceded South Korea's central bank digital currency simulation tender, and Shinhan also joined Korea's Clayton Council. Now, this Clayton coin, gonna start doing some digging about that, and it's because of this next sentence. Clayton Council, which is like Hedera, is a public permissioned DLT. Subsequently, Ground X, a company associated with Clayton, won a CBDC project. This was back in July, guys. Both Clayton and Hedera networks are permissioned because governing council members control the nodes that write the ledger. Again, look at who is on the governing council for Hedera Hashgraph. Okay. Avery Dennison, Boeing, Chainlink Labs, Denton, and I'm just going to name the American companies. Okay. The companies that you see in America: Avery Dennison, Boeing, Google, IBM, LG. Okay. University company, YPro. I've seen that before. I have seen that before, guys. But I named the American companies because of the Clayton Council relationship. Their council, their governing council, connected them to the right people in South Korea for that central bank digital currency simulation. All right. So let's just say same situation is being laid for Hedera Hashgraph. They have the banks, they have the telecommunications companies, they have the data companies, they have the analytics companies, they have the infrastructure built within this governing council. And the companies on this council, guys, I'm telling you, they're doing more than just operating a node. All right. With node operation, you receive a lot of data. A lot of data. And those who know that data is digital oil. It's the new gold, honestly. Data. Okay? So when you have Google, IBM, Boeing, Avery Dennison, and LG on your console feeding you, LG is going to feed you phone data, retail data, housing data, because the appliances in the homes, so forth and so on. Google is going to give you everything that that person in that house has ever looked for. It through Google. IBM will build the computer device that's going to house it all. Why won't they build a CBDC on HBAR for the United States? Why wouldn't they? That's my only question. Oh, on top of that, they just contracted MTech, which is a U.S. Federal Reserve partner for central bank digital currency trials. I don't know how else to put that, ladies and gentlemen. Hedera Hashgraph. That's why I made that video, guys. HBAR is in. Now, granted, if I'm wrong, hey, I'll be the first to admit, but the puzzle pieces are coming together in such a way, guys, I don't feel that I will be. I don't feel that I will be. But again, if I am, I'll be the first to admit it. I'll come right here on this channel and I'll tell you I messed up and I led you astray. But I don't make claims like that unless I truly feel that it's about to happen. So, with all that being said, though, guys, I believe that's all we have for this video. I'm going to take you back to the tweet that started it all. So that way, guys, you leave this video and I just want you to think about this. Just think on this. The acceleration of digitization is going to be hard for a lot of people. It is. And it's happening right now. So, with all that being said, guys, if you found value in this video, hit the like button, hit the subscribe, ring the notification bell, so that way you never miss an update on global crypto adoption with a global perspective, okay? Always, I'll be down in the comments taking questions, comments, concerns, and suggestions, even if you got them. But As always, guys, you know what I want you to do. Have a great day. Have a prosperous day. Most importantly, make that money. I'll see y'all in the next one.